Episode 17, The Bagpipe Sheep of Scotland. Now in our last episode, the Pet Detective team saved the chocolate festival by finding the chocolate bunny, Mr. Nibbles. Along with that, Charlie was winning the s'mores eating contest again. And little Thomas and Ruger, well, they helped their somewhat eccentric grandpa find all the children that were getting lost in his new corn maze. When the team returned back to the feed store/office, once again, Polly Opossum was waiting for them with a new job in her little paws. Now this job was all the way over in Scotland at St. Andrew's Golf Course, where there were 6 of the bagpipe playing sheep have gone missing. Pepe said, "Bagpipe playing sheep? That reminds me, we gotta get the band back together, man." Pepe just couldn't stop himself from saying that. Well, off they flew on British Airways on a direct flight to Scotland. They were able to only do this so quickly because their mommy and Debbie is from England, born and raised. And she is very famous over there as the Bakewell Tart Lady. So they could go as Mommy Debbie's guest. Soon they landed in Edinburgh, Scotland, which is the capital of Scotland. And they were picked up there by Charlemagne the sheepdog, who is in charge of keeping track and protecting all the sheep at St. Andrew's Golf Course. And Bailey asked, "Why do we have so many sheep on the golf course?" Well, back home, the sheep just eat all the grass and tear up the golf course. Charlemagne answered Bailey that all these sheep, they play the bagpipes, starting out when they were just wee little lambs, and when they blow on the bagpipe, it pushes their teeth back perfectly straight. So when they eat all the grass, it comes out level, smoother than any machine can cut the grass. Also, that their wool is soft as a cloud, doesn't itch like the regular wool does. This is because of their diet from eating all the special grasses that are on the golf course. Their mothers started knitting the little lamb's wool into kilts, sashes, and tam-o'-shanters, the hats better known as Tammy hats, to complete their little outfits. Charlemagne did share with the pet detectives that he used to have trouble keeping track of all the sheep, because every time he would count the sheep during roll call, he would fall asleep. So he started using ABCs instead of 1, 2, 3s and keep count, and since there's only about 20, he has enough letters to keep count. Charlemagne is named Charlemagne after the 7th century Holy Roman Emperor. Now Charlemagne is the spitting image of the emperor too. Our team arrived at St. Andrew's Golf Course, and what a beautiful place it is. Charlemagne may have long hair covering his eyes, but he does have excellent vision. It's been said that he has the eyes of a fighter pilot. And he has been all over the golf course, except for the small forest on the edge of the golf course. So Charlie and the twin red foxes, Samuel and Isaac, went to check out the forest, while Bailey and little Colonel, they started talking to the locals and the rest of the sheep for any information. Charlie, Samuel, and Isaac entered the forest just as it started to rain, and they followed the only path into the forest. The rain started falling harder, and Isaac tripped on the muddy path, and he lost his glasses. Well, Charlie and Samuel were right there to guide poor little Isaac out of the forest. All the while, they kept searching for the lost sheep and Isaac's glasses. When they left the forest, Charlie spotted Isaac's glasses stuck between 2 big rocks on the watery pathway. Charlie couldn't pull the glasses from the rocks, so Charlie, him being a quick thinker, he started to dig out from underneath the rocks. And soon, with Charlie's hard work and the fast-moving water, the rocks moved and let go of Isaac's glasses. Now, they didn't find the lost sheep, but they have Isaac's glasses back. Meanwhile, Colonel, Bailey, and Pepe, they were talking to the people that worked there, and one of the workers said he gave the sheep a ride to Wimbledon yesterday. "Oh, I forgot to tell you," Charlemagne said. "These sheep out here, they love tennis, and there's a chance they might have snuck off to the Wimbledon tennis match. So our team and Charlemagne sped off to Wimbledon to the tennis match. Oh, now where's little Thomas and Ruger, you ask? Well, after they helped their crazy old grandpa with the corn maze he planted, they once again headed for home. But on their way home, little Thomas, he wanted to take one of his famous shortcuts. Ruger just rolled his eyes and let out a big sigh, for he knows Thomas's shortcuts always take longer. But Ruger, being the good pal that he is, and since he was driving, he took the so-called shortcut. And as Ruger predicted, it was a very, very long shortcut, and they were running out of gas. And when they pulled over to fill up with gas, they discovered that they never took the money their crazy grandpa left for them on the counter. And now they were hungry, out of gas, and with no money. Well, both little Thomas and Ruger are not ones to look at a glass half full, but the empty half is just a chance to fill it up with opportunity and adventure. Now there's a little cafe right next to the gas station, so the boys went in and talked to the owner and asked if they could work there to earn some money for gas and food. Now the owner just happened to be in need of a couple of employees. You see, the gas station and restaurant are both out in the middle of nowhere. And the next day, Harry had a big grand reopening to try and stir up some business for the restaurant and gas station. So the boys were hired on the spot. The owner, Harry, was famous for his hash brown fried potatoes. However, Harry's home of the famous world's hash browns was not on the main road anymore, so business was all but dried up. So Harry put it in the paper that he was celebrating the re-grand opening the next day. He asked the boys if they had any ideas. Thomas asked, "Have you put it on the internet? You know, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram?" No, Harry replied. He said he's never been much at that newfangled computer stuff. Thomas said, "Well, we need some clever thinking, and lucky for you, Ruger and I come from a long line of people who think they are very clever." Harry served the boys some hash browns along with a side of bacon and eggs to get them started with full tummies. That's when Thomas and Ruger both noticed that Harry's hash browns are shaped like hashtags. Harry made his very own hash brown potato slicer, not realizing it sliced all of his potatoes into perfectly shaped hashtags. "I got an idea," Thomas proclaimed. So Thomas got on Harry's very, very old computer, while Ruger started building a new sign to help put up for Harry's new restaurant. Thomas took pictures of Harry's hashtag hash browns and renamed it hashtag Harry's world famous hashtag hash browns. That's a mouthful. Also, Thomas came up with a hashtag tic-tac-potato tournament to be played on Harry's hash browns. Soon Harry's new sign was up, the re-grand opening was underway. Harry's wife Marcella made some costumes out of real potatoes for the boys to wear. Their new names now are Thomas Russet and his sidekick Yukon Gold Ruger. Soon a long line of cars were pulling in the hashtag Harry's. The tic-tac-potato tournament was also well underway. Ruger, when building the sign, and being a very clever dog that he is, he built a couple of wooden hashtags so he and Thomas could hold them up and spin them around as they were walking around and greeting the new guests. And also, due to a happy little accident with the potato slicer, Hash Brown Harry's also added potatoes au gratin to his menu. At the end of a very busy day, the boys had a full tank of gas, and their tummies were full, and hashtag Harry's was back in business thanks to Thomas and Ruger's honest hard work. Now good job, Thomas and Ruger. But this time Ruger was not going to take any of Thomas's new shortcuts. Meanwhile, back at the Wimbledon tennis match, on their drive to Wimbledon, Charlemagne the sheepdog explained the little-known fact about the St. Andrew's Bagpipe sheep, that is their love for tennis. Especially the young lambs, they are particularly fond of tennis. The young lambs' names are Rory, Maggie, Archie, and Angus, and little Haggis, better known as Lamb Chop, the best tennis player they have. When they arrived at Wimbledon, they were surprised to find out that the place was full of spectators and no more room. Although, if you're a contestant or with a contestant, you can come right in and sign up. Now, Charlie and Bailey are very talented tennis players, so they signed up. Samuel and Isaac, they're very good at playing doubles tennis, so they signed up for the doubles tournament. Now, Colonel and Bailey, Charlemagne all signed up as coaches. Bailey decided she shouldn't play, she should be better at a coach. However, Pepe, well, he's still on the international tennis suspension list from the last time he played the tennis tournament. Pepe said it's not his fault. He suffers from a very rare TTS, tennis Tourette syndrome, causing him to have outbursts every time he loses a point. Pepe said it's so rare that he, being an honorary doctor, had to diagnose himself. Well, TTS or not, Wimbledon says he's still on suspension. But he can be an assistant coach. But if he misbehaves, they'll be forced to put a muzzle on him. Pepe gave his scouts honor that he would only have bright and cheery thoughts and words coming from him. So they all went to find little Haggis, aka Lamb Chop. He was easy enough to find. Why is that, you ask? All you had to do was follow the sound of the bagpipes. When they were introducing Lamb Chop from St. Andrews, the all-lamb bagpipe band, the Woolly Pipers, started playing the theme from Rocky. Now Pepe lost control immediately in his tennis Tourette syndrome and started yelling for them to pipe down. Well, right away the tennis referee ejected Pepe, and Pepe was given a choice. He could wear a muzzle or work as a cook at the Scotch egg stand. Now, for those who don't know what a Scotch egg is, it's a boiled egg wrapped in sausage and breadcrumbs and then deep fried. Well, Pepe took the cook's job because he knows all about Scotch eggs, and now he gets to eat them for free. I'm a little suspicious about Pepe, and he did this on purpose so he could end up at McPepe's Scotch egg stand. Now Lamb Chop's match was underway, and so was Charlie's, and they were both wowing the crowd with their speed and agility and their flashy style, the way they ran all over the court, and they reached every ball that was hit back to them. Now during all this, the boys Samuel and Isaac were playing their doubles match and doing very well. And since Samuel and Isaac are twins, they know exactly what the other one is thinking. This gives them somewhat of an advantage. This can be frustrating for their competitors because they have so much fun at whatever they're doing. They talk to the children in the crowd, they play tennis piggyback style, they juggle tennis balls and tennis rackets, and also tightrope walk on the tennis net. Now Samuel and Isaac did win their match, but they asked if they could pass on the next one so they could watch Charlie and Lamb Chop play against each other in the finals. Winning isn't everything to Samuel and Isaac. They enjoyed playing and having fun more than anything. So they made their way over to center court where Lamb Chop and Charlie were due to play. Coach Bailey and Colonel saved the boys a couple of spots so they could all sit next to each other. But at the last minute, Pepe mysteriously had a tummy ache from the taste testing all the Scotch eggs. So Charlie had to go help at the Scotch egg stand. The next contestant had to play against Lamb Chop, and it was Eric von Wolfenstein. Yes, better known as Wolfie, from the dreaded wolf pack that lived in the woods next to St. Andrew's golf course. Well, as always, Charlemagne was right there, and Wolfie knew it. All the wolves were afraid of Charlemagne. Soon the game started with Lamb Chop, and Lamb Chop was lightning fast. But Wolfie, he was big and strong, and he hit the ball very hard. The game was close, and Wolfie was getting frustrated with little Lamb Chop and just how good he is. So Wolfie started growling, and he let out a big howl, thinking he would scare little Lamb Chop. And he did frighten Lamb Chop a little. Wolfie smiled his big toothy grin, and he thought he had little Lamb Chop scared now. But Charlemagne, he wasn't going to put up with that. He got there and he put out his big deep growl that he uses to protect all the sheep, and that made Wolfie mind his manners. And right then and there, the Woolly Piper started playing Lamb Chop's favorite song of all, Scotland the Brave. Now Lamb Chop was fearless, because with his friends and family beside him, he couldn't have been happier. And Lamb Chop played like the champion he is, with all his moves and speed. Well, Lamb Chop did win the Wimbledon Championship, a proud moment for him, and also Wolfie and him did become best of friends and tennis partners back at St. Andrews. And the pet detectives found the lost Bagpipe lambs. Charlemagne was happy to have all of his sheep safely back home. And little Haggis, he promised his mom and Charlemagne he would never stray again without asking their permission first. Pepe, now he learned that you can eat too many Scotch eggs. Now with their mommy Debbie, they bid farewell to merry old England and headed home to find out what Polly Opossum has in store for them next. Now Pepe says, what are you waiting for? Free Scotch egg? Do yourself a real favor, like and subscribe. You'll never miss a show. It's free and it's a bargain at twice the price. Little Colonel says leave a comment or questions about how the show is, because like you, he has a lot of them himself. And remember to tune in next time for more Adventures of the Pet Detectives.